a quick Q&A session that I was asked to do in the Elite Room this morning for some of the newer traders. So we figured we would just go ahead and jump on the line and do a real quick live stream to answer some basic newbie, if you would, questions. I'll be doing this by myself today. Ben will not be joining me. So we'll just keep this thing up and running until some people start coming in. And we'll just kind of wait a little bit. So let's see. Try to make sure that everything is up and running. Just wait for some people to come in. Okay. So, hey Hamad, how are you? Can you hear me? Just give me a yes to make sure we've got audio, so I know that we're good. Loud and clear. Perfect. All right, great. So we got Gary in here. We've got Mad Law. Got Jeremy. All right, perfect. So everything is good. All right, so let's go through some of your questions. What is the first thing that you guys want me to cover? And we will go through it. Also get this set up so that I can, actually, no, this is not. It's completely doing this on the fly for you guys, so I'm trying to get it ready so that we can, let's see. Okay. All right, so Jeremy was asking about backing up for Ninja. All right. So, what you would do is okay, boy, it got really dark in here all of a sudden. Let's see. See if I can fix that. There, how about that? Okay, so if we go and let's do this. You guys can see this? Don't worry about this green box on the bottom left here. It's Hi, Justin. How you doing? Okay. Can you see this screen up here? Are we good? Okay. So what you do is you go into Tools, and then you go into Export, and then you go into Backup File. Oh, well, I can't do that because all my accounts. Okay. Well, anyway, that's where you would go into that. I'm connected right now. So you see the connections that I have? So you would go to Tools, and then you would go into Export, and then Backup. And then once you go through that, it's going to ask you what you want to back up and then how often you want to do it. And that's where you select where you can back it up every day or only on Fridays, once a week, once a month, whatever it is. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but that's just the way that you would do that. Okay, Jeremy, does that kind of help a little bit? Okay, great. So also, there's like 20 people in here. If you just joined and you're just kind of hanging out, not really quite sure what we're doing today, it's just a Q&A. So whatever questions you have, and this was directed primarily to newbies about, what to do with chart, either platform setup, chart setup, what have you. I figured I'd just kind of go over some of the questions that some of the new folks may have. So if you guys can just, get those running so we don't like drag this thing out because I don't really want this thing to run too long. Because I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know how much your time is valuable and I appreciate you guys jumping in here with me, even though this is a really like spur of the moment kind of a thing. So um, what happened? There we go. We lost video. Okay, what's going on here? Let's see. Lost the video completely. There we go. Now we're back. Okay, so Justin talking about data feeds. Okay, so going back to the data feeds, so we go into options, and then you go to market data, and then your preferred historical and real time. See how I have IQ feed selected for future and index? Index is what I use for simplicity. But IQ feed I have, and then you have the drop down. You can select any one of the other data feeds, but since don't want any of them, so I have IQ feed. You see that, Justin? It's kind of we talked about in the ER. Now you understand what we were doing. And ER is elite room, by the way, not emergency room. If those of you who are new and watching it, you're not seeing the screen. Okay, let me go back. Okay, how about now? Can you see it? So again, tools, options, market data, and both the preferred and historical real-time right here, right? The real-time real-time and historical preferred connections are both for IQ feed. All right. And then, like I said, you have a drop down for all the other ones, but we don't care about those because we want to pick just the one that we're going to be using. And then, like I said, since the connections that I have IQ feed. So when I connect to Ninja, I connect to IQ Feed first, then I connect to my futures live, and then I connect to my ATF. All right, so you got that? All right, great. Any other questions? Good, excellent, Justin. I'm glad you like it. So, anybody else? That's it. That's all we needed to do. All my data plans are mainly just for backup. Well, okay, so I started with initially the data feed that I got from NinjaTrader from the brokerage account. So that's what I had primarily as my primary all the time. And then I didn't have any CME data from IQ feed. I only had the indexes. So I'll go back to this. So initially, for my preferred connections, I had my NinjaTrader Continuum as my primary, okay, for futures. Index was always IQ feed because that's what I use for trading simplicity because you need index data. So before I had, basically before I was trading simplicity, going back about maybe six months ago, I didn't have IQ feed. So I didn't have anything selected in the index. It was all none. And then the only thing I had for futures data was my NinjaTrader brokerage continuum. And by default, if that was to go out, since I was connected to the ATF or Apex or the Rhythmic side second, if that was to fail, it would always automatically roll over to that data feed. But just to make sure that by default you're always using that data feed, that's why you select it here. And if you select none, whichever one you connect to first, that's the one that's going to pull data from first, right? So if you have multiple connections, right? If you only have one, then none of this really matters. None of it has any effect whatsoever. Because if you only have one connection, you only have one data feed, it's only going to pull from one. There's nothing else to pull from. The index data is where you're getting all the options data for, because that's what's required for simplicity, because it pulls options data. Well, here's the thing. I would, because CQG is way better than Rhythmic. So you definitely want to have CQG as your primary connection, as opposed to pulling Rhythmic data. And don't forget, what you're getting with CQG, since you're paying for it, you're also getting level 2, which I don't think you're getting with Rhythmic. You're only getting level 1. And if you're trading off, I don't know if you can trade off of a DOM with Rhythmic. I never tried it, so I don't really know. I can't say, so I don't know. And I can just tell you that what I used, and it's worked well for me, and I just leave it. If it works, don't fix it, kind of a thing, right? So Justin, looks like this whole video is just for you, my friend. We've got 25 people in here. You're the only one that's having some questions for me. So are you talking about, um, hold on a second. Are you talking about these levels here? Load that, you're not going to have this line. And every time I load the simplicity chart, it gives me a problem on the stream. So I'm going to take it down. There's always some kind of a delay or something. So, okay. So when you first, P, your question was, I'm sorry, Gary was first. Sorry. No, Gary. So your question was, when you're ready for simplicity, do you connect IQ feed first and then Rhythmic? No. You can connect IQ feed at any time. In fact, I would recommend you connect to Rhythmic first and then IQ feed, because IQ feed is not giving you any of the data that you need for trading futures, unless you have it set up that way. Now, if you get IQ feed with the futures data, right, but then it wouldn't make any sense to pay the fees that they require if you don't have a waiver with an existing broker. So if you don't have, it's going to cost you way more money. So with Rhythmic, you get that for free. So unless you have a live brokerage account, then you don't need to get, well, you can do whatever you want, but it's just way more expensive to get the CME data. Does that answer your question, Gary? Okay. Yeah, so if you had the waiver last time, you just have to probably apply for it again, Justin. And then it's only $5 for the bundle, for the CME bundle. Okay, let's go back to P's question. CQG comes with NT brokerage and not a paid subscription. Okay, so I don't know how it works now, but initially when I first signed, and this goes back a couple years ago, when I signed up with, actually it's way more than a couple years ago, but when I signed up with NT brokerage, I had to select a data feed. And I was either going to use Ninjas or some other third party. I used Ninjas at the time because I didn't know any better, and that's what I was doing. And it seemed like it was quick, easy, and cheap at that point. So that's what I did. I just, went through the process of adding CQG data that, it's Continuum, NinjaTrader Continuum, and that's what I did. So you have to pay for it, and there is a monthly fee for that. No matter what, if you don't want to pay for a data service and you want to get that for free, then you get data with Rhythmic for free, but it's level 1. Okay, so you can connect just to Rhythmic. And so technically you could just, if you have the NinjaTrader platform, actually, if you're just an ATF, Apex Trader Funding member, they give you everything. So you don't even need to buy the because they give you a free license to NinjaTrader. They give you the data for free, so you don't have to pay for any of it. This only applies that if you have live accounts and you already have the platform from before and things like that. So I just wanted to just clear that as well, that you don't have to spend. Let's say, for example, you're just brand new to trading today. You signed up with Apex Trader Funding and you wanted to get an eval account and you wanted to start trading it. What else do you need? You need absolutely nothing. You can just log into the ATF website. You download, you just go through the process of downloading the NinjaTrader copy that they have for you there. You put the license key that they put. I don't even know if they ever have a license key anymore because it's all NinjaTrader 8.1 now. So I don't know how that works, but Apex gives you everything. I mean, you have everything that you need. You don't have to spend any more money other than your monthly fee that you have for your eval account. And that's it. Right? So I hope that makes sense. And I apologize if I'm not looking directly at the camera, guys. I've got like 8 monitors I'm trying to look at, and everything I have is over on the right. So it's not really in front of me. So that's why forgive me if I'm not looking straight at the camera. So I apologize for that. So Gary, does that answer your question? So Magnum, it's and I'm yeah, you're okay. I saw you in the elite room today. Yeah. So when you go through boot camp, um, and hold on a second. Give me 1 second. Why do you need IQ feed if Apex is giving you all that you need? If you wanted to trade simplicity, then you would need an IQ feed data feed because they don't give you the index data. You only get that through IQ feed. Or you can get it through, I think, Kinetic as well, but IQ feed's better. Okay, so you're asking me about simplicity. So if you go into your boot camp and you go through here, which is, what was that, section 5? The very last one is simplicity. It talks about simplicity and how to get it all set up. Go through all these videos, and that'll teach you how to set up simplicity. Does that answer your question, Magnum? Did you see that? Was that coming through, or yeah, it should? Yeah, okay, it should have because it was on the screen. Correct. Correct, Marcel. So if you wanted to trade simplicity and you're only using eval accounts and that's the only thing that you have, or PAs or whatever, then yeah, you would have to get IQ feed along with your Rhythmic that you get with ATF. But again, you got to remember, Rhythmic, you get that for free, and it's probably one of the worst data providers out there. So you get what you pay for, right? So for starting out and just learning and all that, then that's great. But once you start, when this becomes something that you trade to make a living at, then you're going to want to get the best that's out there because your money rides on it, right? So don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money when you're making a whole lot of money. Obviously, don't do that out of the gate, but unless you can afford it, right? It's you're investing in yourself, so it's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. All right. All right. Any other questions? What's next? Ideally, if you can afford it, yeah, IQ feed will probably be the best for everything. It gives you the most reliable data feed, P. Um, so sometimes if there's like discrepancies on the charts, or I mean, because remember, with the setups that we look at and with order prints, one tick can make a difference in a setup, whether it shows up or not. And you want to make sure that the data provided, is the most reliable and as accurate as possible. And IQ Feed it's known industry wide to be the most reliable, data source provider out there. Excuse me. Any other questions? So we've got 30 people in here. So for the ones that have just joined us, we're just kind of going through some Q&As for all the new people. And so if you have any questions, just jump on in. David is asking a silly question. I have an eval Apex account currently trading on Tradeovate. If I now use NT, will my evaluation be based on from NT or a combination of Tradeovate and NT? So when you're saying you use NT, what do you mean you use NT? You use NT as the platform or you use Tradeovate as the platform? Because you can have your Tradeovate data connected through NT from what I understand. Oh, Rad Poker, how you doing, man? Nice to see you. It probably will, Rad. I'm gonna say yes because IQ Feed's probably the most reliable data that's out there. Marcel, give me 1 second. We'll go back to the workspace thing, and then I want you to clarify the question. I want to go back to David's question. Yeah, it's good to see you too, man. Nice of you to jump in here. I appreciate the support. Which, by the way, if you guys like this, don't forget to hit the like button. Just throw that out there since we're doing this. So I'll plug a couple of things while I'm waiting for some of the questions to come through. David, did you get your questions answered? Are you trading on the NT platform? Wait for David to type back. So in the meantime, this is for the non-Apex people who are in here and watching and wanted to be part of what it is that we're talking about and see this thing live. The QR code that's on the screen, if you scan that, or the link that was just put in the chat, you can get access to the elite room and boot camp and everything else that Apex has to offer for 30 days for free. So if you're not familiar with what it is that we're talking about, that is a way to get access to that, where I'm actually in the trade room with Lori and Daryl that comes in Monday through Friday, 9:30 Eastern to noon Eastern every single day, every single Monday through Friday again. And go back to the questions. P, so no, I don't think it was a silly question at all. I think it was a great question. I wish he would come back. Oh, here we go. So he did say something. Okay, so you want to use the NT platform. Can you use the same data you use for Tradeovate? So data feed is one thing, and then your accounts are another. So you can execute the trade in the platform as long as you're accessing the account, right? Because once you connect it to the account, you don't have to necessarily pull the data from that to trade. Does that make sense? Like, for example, my live NinjaTrader account with my live money, I'm actually trading it, but I'm using a different data source. I'm not using Ninja's data source to trade that account. And the same goes for my PAs. I'm trading those using my IQ feed data. I'm not using Rhythmic data. Even though I am connected to it, I'm not using it. Okay, good. So that makes sense. All right, perfect. What else was I? And thanks for trying to clarify that too, P. I appreciate that. Street Glide, would you say IQ pays for itself with being skipped less and or slippage? Um, I haven't really tested it to see where, I mean, slippage, you're going to get, sometimes you're going to get slippage no matter what. If the market is just flying and you're placing a market order, you could potentially get some slippage. Even with a limit order, you can potentially get some slippage with anything. But I think that IQ Feed, from what I understand, is probably the most reliable um, to where you may not get skipped as much for sure, and or slippage. Because I mean, slippage can happen in any market with any data feed if the market moves fast enough. By the time your order gets filled, it may be to the next buyer or seller that picks it up, right? I mean, that's kind of like how it is. And by the way, I'll throw this up there too, just um, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the mentoring program that that we offer. Um, there's some information about that if you're not already part of it. Any other questions? Or did I miss something? Was there a question that asked that I didn't see? Oh, Marcel. Okay, so you asked a question about the workspace shutdown. Okay, so as you can see, so I've got the the workspace that I have open here and easy open because it's grayed out. So what I would do is that I would close this workspace out before I shut down, and then after I shut down, I would and I X out, I would not save anything. Hi Angela, how you doing? And then when I reopen everything, my connections are, so here, like I said, um, they're not set to, and I just want to make sure, hold on one second. Yeah, I can't really show it because it's got my usernames on there. So, but anyway, I have it not set to auto connect. So Angela, so yes, so going back, and I know you kind of missed it. So when I go into options and then to market data, so I have for the preferred historical and preferred live, the real-time data, I have IQ feed as my preferred connections. And I think it's far more superior than the data feed that NT gives you, because I've noticed that by just switching over, and ever since I switched over, I don't have any issues with my charts not showing up with what the room charts are showing, for example, or what Lori is saying, even though she is using Continuum um, with the IQ feed, I don't ever seem to have an issue with the setups being where they need to be. Any other questions? Um, Terry, I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to say no because I don't know what it is. No, it will not. Actually, hold on a second, Ed. Sorry about that. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know. You can try it. What I would do is basically, you can subscribe to it and try it. And if it doesn't work, just cancel it. I was actually thinking about doing that before I made the switch over to IQ feed, but for my CME data. But once I did that, I figured I'm just forget it. I'm not even going to mess with it because I thought about maybe. Actually, no, check that. I was thinking about doing that before I got my IQ feed index data to try to go with the CBOE stuff. And yeah, I think because of the cost, but I don't remember if it worked. But yeah, I would try it. And if it works, great. Again, just for the time being to get you going, um, then you get with whatever you can to get by with the least amount of cost, right? Because I get it, it all costs money. But once you get to the point where you're really starting to make some serious money, then you may want to look at the tools that you've got, data feeds being one of them, and get the best that you possibly can. It's no different than getting a trading computer. You get by with what you can now, and then once you start, making money, and this becomes something that's very reliable, you want to make sure that you get the fastest trading computer that you can, because everything makes a difference, right? It's no different than, if you're a race car driver and you're basically starting to race, you race what you got. There's an old term we used to say, run what you brung, kind of a thing. But and then later on, at some point, you just get the best that you possibly can when you start winning and all that. So Megan, it's going to happen. You just you keep going at it, and you do what you got to do, and you follow your rules, and you develop your trade plan, and you go through all that. It will happen. I mean, that's one of the things that I got to tell you. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of people make a huge transformation in the mentor program that we run in the last 6 weeks alone. Um, Terry, I know what you're talking about now. I actually do have that um, that timer up. That's something that's from one of the Apex. Hold on a second. Let me see what it is. I got to move to another computer here, so I'm getting off screen. I apologize. Um, is that the Apex bar lag timer? Is that what you're talking about, or something similar to that? Um, Terry, are we talking about the same thing? Well, Tim, if it's not happening, it's got to be, I hate to say this, but it's got to be something that you're doing. And you got to look at what it is that you're doing that's preventing you from going through the transition or the transformation. And you may not even know it until somebody points it out to you. Because you may think you're doing the right thing, but you don't know what you don't know. And I can tell you that the people that I've personally worked with um, have realized very, very quickly what they need to make a change on. Yeah, I don't know, but all I can tell you is from what I see, the whatever timer I have, or it's just whatever indicator it is, it's always in like the negative, like minus 12 or whatever it is. Um, and it was like somewhere closer to 0 or plus 1 or 2 um, using um, the other data feed. Tim, maybe that just may be the case, but you won't know until you try. And when I say, I don't mean try, but it's if you get into it, you really have to be committed to put forth the work. Because if you don't do that, then it's not going to work. Um, the wealth video is something that is later on down the road. Thrive would be a good suggestion. You can do that before or during. There's some things you're going to learn in Thrive that will help you with recognizing like setups and chart reads and things like that. But yeah, Magnum, it's kind of your call. You could go through Thrive first, and if you feel that you didn't get enough, then you can sign up for the group. Tim, there's some other stuff in there. I actually didn't go to the summit, so I don't know. I didn't go through all the videos. I'll be perfectly honest. But there's some good information in there. I'll put that up again just in case you missed it. Yeah, I wish I would have went. I'm kind of bummed, Megan. I really wish I would have went. Just to be able to meet everybody would have been great. Now, obviously, this is before I was in the ER or was ever even a thought to be in the ER. Actually, yeah, no, because after the Wealth Summit, a couple of weeks later is when Lori had approached me and told me that Daryl had a conversation with her and they wanted to put me in the ER. And then my first day in the ER was August something, I can't remember. It was August 15th, I think, or something around there. So very shortly after the Wealth Summit, they literally threw me into the ER, which has been like life changing for me, to say the least. But the next live event, I'm definitely looking forward to, and gonna do everything I can to make that one for sure. What, Megan? Remember my first day in the ER? Yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. All right, how long have we been at this? Do we have any idea? 45 minutes. Well, that 15 minutes turned to 45. All right, guys, any other questions? By the way, for those of you who don't have any evals or are planning to getting any other ones, here's the referral code for whatever's currently running. Actually, curious, I want to check something. Yeah, so if you use that referral code, you'll actually get 50% off any eval that's running right now. And um, if there's a sale going on, then whatever's the current sale, like the 90% sale that we just had, then you would get the 90% off. But right now, since there's no sale, the only thing we got going on is the half off resets. If you wanted to get an eval, you can get that for 50% off using that code. So yeah, just use large for the discount code and you'll get 50% off. All right, guys, any other questions? Or we'll wrap it up. That's a good plan, Megan. That's a very good plan for sure. Once you pass one, then you get other ones. Yeah, I mean it's I got to tell you before I got into Apex, it was meh, to say the least. But coming to Apex, I mean the whole culture, the whole ideology, I mean everything behind it, um, literally from the top down, from Daryl and John all the way, I mean just to the support people, everything. It's just the whole organization. It's all about trying to help traders become as successful as they possibly can, and and you can see that, and it's just you know I'm glad that it happened when it did, and it didn't happen 2 years from now, or from when I first got into Apex. I'm not going to sit here and wish that it would have happened 10 years ago, because I mean obviously that would be the most ideal, but obviously I was meant to stumble on Apex when I did, and I'm glad that that happened. So um, Megan, if you've watched my videos, then um, that's my face is on there a lot. So um, Robert, question. I want to sign up for the mental biweekly option. I find myself entering simplicity trades in the zone and getting stopped out too often. I'm in an eval and ready to make a change. I'm in my 4th month. Okay. Um, well, we can definitely help you for sure. Um, and while you're doing that, um, Robert, have you seen? Give me a second. Let me find this for you. Um, okay. Um, okay. I just put a link in the chat. Um, that is to a simplicity video that Ben and I did quite a while back on how to trade simplicity and not blow your account. That's correct, Isaac. That's a sale that is Apex is running. It's just that My eval code, I guess, gives you 50% off regardless. You don't need the code for the resets. That's Apex just gives that to you by default. Yeah, you should get some good stuff out of it, Robert. All right, guys. What else? We're approaching an hour. I didn't think I was going to do it this long. Yeah, Rad, you still need to finish Thrive. That's a good idea. Um, Stay with it and go through it. And once you finish it, I'd probably suggest going through it one more time, just to make sure that all this stuff is like implanted in your brain, especially the part about the lanes and things like that. It all helps. Everything helps, and then at some point you'll put all the pieces together, and it'll make you who you are. You just got to find what basically fits you as a trader. All right, I'll give this thing a couple more minutes, and then we'll call it quits. Any updates on OPR? What do you mean by that? Sorry about that. It's what happens when you're doing this stuff live. What do you mean an OPR? Um, Here, let me do this. Hold on one second, Robert. Let me see if I can get you something that's more direct. Okay. So Robert, which one? You said you wanted the VIP option? Okay, hold on a second. All right, try this, Robert. Know if that works. Yeah, no problem, Robert. So let's see. Try one other thing for you guys. Here, try this too. This might work also. Maybe if you scan that code also, that might take you to the VIP sign up also. You're welcome, Angela. All right. So I think that's going to wrap it up. We've been at this thing for almost an hour. Again, don't forget to hit the like button. We've only got like 16 or some odd likes. I'd like to get a little bit more, just to kind of get the algorithm to like these. If there was good info here, I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu, last minute kind of live stream. I got to tell you, I really appreciate you guys being in here with me. Again, this was just a last minute. You guys asked for me to do this, so I did this. I actually really enjoy doing this for you guys. So you're welcome, Red, and you too, Gary. Okay, so somebody else, Jerome, just asked, hi, Ron, I was trading Simplicity pre-market this morning, and the setup bar opened and closed at the same price. Is that a valid setup, or does it have to close in the direction of the trade? Jerome, what's the timestamp on it? If you give me the timestamp of the setup bar, I'll pull up my chart real quick and I'll look at it. Marcel, you're welcome. Magnum, you're welcome too, and P, same as well. Thank you guys. I mean, thanks for the support. Thanks for everything that you guys do. I really appreciate it. You guys actually help me a lot more than you realize, because the more I do this and the more I try to help and I even hate use the word educate other traders. It really like strengthens and reinforces everything that I do for me. So you guys actually benefit me a lot as well. Plus, you guys are all my accountability partners as well in the room. So, which by the way, I didn't take any trades today. It's okay, even if it was an M&Q setup. Give me the timestamp. Let me see what I can do. I'll pull up. We'll see if we can get close enough. You said it was pre-market though too, right? Robert is I'll give in there, and there's a starting to lag just because my simplicity chart is up. It's weird. Every time I go away from the stream and I look at a simplicity chart, it starts to lag. So okay, it was 8 o'clock Eastern, I'm assuming, right, Jerome? And Robert, your question. So you'll get an email with a link to Discord. and the questionnaire. Just fill out the questionnaire, send that back, and click on the Discord link to get signed up. And that will get you into everything that's in the program. And then we actually have a group call set up this week. I think Thursday or Friday. So you just got in at a good time. You're going to be in the first call. Okay, so 8:30. And I'll put this up again real quick while I'm looking. Okay, so 8 a.m. 30. Okay, so yeah, that is a setup bar. I have the same thing on my chart. Per simplicity rules. Okay, we're just talking about regular simplicity rules now, right, Jerome? We're not talking about anything else. Thanks, Robert. You two have a great day as well. Jerome, we're just talking about a basic simplicity rules, right? Not the way I trade it, right? I'll just wait for you to respond before I keep going. Okay, so that is a setup bar, and then you get in when it breaks the low of that bar. Now, unfortunately, that trade lost, and I'll be quite honest with you, that's not a trade I would have taken, and we can go over all the reasons why, but that is just not a trade that I would have taken. But yes, that is, per simplicity rules, that is a correct setup bar. Okay. The only problem is that you were already in a simplicity long before that, and you did not get stopped out. Okay. So the 759.30 bar did not close below the solid line. Neither did the 8 o'clock. So, I mean, again, it's a tough thing because that same bar closed below the solid and was a setup to go short. That's not really a trade I would ever take when it presents that scenario. Especially the way I trade it. I mean, I wait for literally a complete reset, and that's not what would constitute a reset for me. Okay, but Jerome, if we're just talking about identifying setups, and you're talking about if you see that kind of a bar, and the lines line up, the solid and the dotted line up the way that they did, that is a valid setup bar, right? Because it doesn't matter. The bar can even close up, right? Doesn't really matter. As long as the lines point down and they're red, the break below that bar, that's when you get in, or 2 ticks below. I actually set mine up to 4, but again, I trade simplicity on a way more conservative level than what the rules state. So I took the rules and I even tightened them up even more because I want more confirmations, because I want the highest probability on my side. Does that make sense, Jerome? All right, perfect. Oh, yep, you're quite welcome. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today for this session. Thanks for joining me again. I appreciate you spending the time with me. I know you guys have all kinds of options with things that you can do with your time, and I really appreciate you spending it with me. So thanks again, and we will see you guys all in the. I will not be doing Power Hour today, I don't think, especially with FOMC and so forth. So I will see you guys all in the ER on the Elite Room tomorrow. Thanks again for joining, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.